everyone, welcome to my channel. You can call me Ghazi. I just recently got into trucking. It's been about, I think I got in for PSD phase back in April. Got on TNT on the road for around May 9th. Yeah, so you're looking at a good 6-7 months. But I've been on my own for about a month and almost a week now, and just wanted to share my experience with you guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's trucking. Initially, my thought was it's gonna be a very easy process given where I'm coming from. I never actually pictured myself being a trucker to begin with. That's the honest truth. Prior to this, I was pursuing registered nurse to become a registered nurse at New York City while I was doing 4 years of part-time Uber to sustain myself. That did not work out. I mean, at least it was working out until pandemic happened and things just fell apart, Life happens. So since then on, I had to figure out. I had to jump through a lot of hoops, let's just say that. But you know what? I will say one thing. Trucking is definitely worth it. It's just, it doesn't have a good image in people's mindset when you say trucking, okay? Some people, like myself, I honestly don't prefer the word trucking. I feel like a lot of you people align a lot of derogatory terms with the term trucking, term trucking. So I prefer professional CDL driver, but it is what it is. People knows this profession as trucking, plain and simple. Whether you're a holder or B holder or C holder. Is there a C holder? I'm sorry. It's but I will tell you one thing. I would not have gotten into this whole trucking if I did not love driving. The love for exploring new places, meeting new people, that's what got me into Uber in the first place. And I saw that as a viable option to live while I get myself through college to become a registered nurse, because I just loved, in general, driving, And also, Uber was a way to get me a car to drive around the city, while I'm able to pay for it and also pay for my living expenses, But that's all it is. You don't make a ton of money doing Uber, contrary to what a lot of people likes to believe. It's just it's a gig that can get you by. It's not gonna make you banks. People who tells you that they make banks or otherwise, they're lying. Cause I feel like there's definitely loopholes here and there, but you really need to be on point with all your taxes, all your expenses and all that. And if you're not up to date with all of it, that's just not a profession that's going to work out. Because you have, especially, okay, let me first of all give you a little background on my Uber. So I did Uber in the tri-state area, and for you to do Uber in the tri-state area, you need to have TLC license, which is taxi and limousine commission, and that has a different licensing fee, and there's a different process, as opposed to if you're in the suburbs or outskirts of the cities. You don't need any particular license. You just need a Class E license and a personal vehicle, and you could have personal insurance. And I don't think you need full coverage, but it is definitely advised that you get full coverage if you're trying to do Uber on your own. Just cause you don't know what kind of accident you can get yourself into. First week, second week goes well. Let's say first year, second year goes well, and third year, a major accident happens. You could end up in a stretcher. You don't know. Nobody knows what the future is like. So I feel like it's definitely a toss-up. But that being said, you being able to do Uber in the city, you also have to deal with a lot of the TLC police that they have set up in the tri-state area. So basically you have to follow a very specific set of rules while you're operating under the TLC license and within the tri-state region. And it definitely like breathes down your neck at times. It's just not the easiest gig, so to say. For example, I would say people who does Postmates or Uber Eats or like any other delivery jobs, I feel like they make more money if they have a bike instead of a car, because you don't have the fuel cost to basically man, I'm having a little brain fart, but basically cut into your cost of like all your expenses. Like you don't have fuel costs, so the only thing you're using is your physical energy to get by from point A to point B. However, I will say there's a risk of physical exertion, because I have one or two friends who did it for a while and they're like, oh man, my legs, my joints, it's constantly hurting, because you have to be on the move, you have to constantly get around. So everything has its ups, pros and cons, just so. Let's see what else to say. So getting back on the trucking, I am in the reefer division right now. I don't want to disclose too much about what company I work for or anything. I just want to keep it as a trucking and personal experience channel, but I'm doing reefer. I like the reefer division so far. The only thing I don't like is sometimes you have to get involved with claims. You might be delayed by the shipper. It can average from 4 hours, minimum of 2 hours, to all the way till 2 days, 3 days. 2 days, 3 days, that's not an everyday occurrence, just so you know. I'm not trying to scare anyone that's trying to come into the reefer. But in my experience so far, in 1 month and 1 week almost, I will tell you the first 2-3 weeks went well. First week was okay. I already did claims on the third day because it was a target load, and I had to do claims, and I was stuck at the receiver for like, I would say, for the better part of 14 hours, and that was not the best experience, I would say, because waiting, I don't like waiting. I don't like wasting time. Get me a load, as long as it's paying me a decent amount, it's taking care of all my costs, keep me moving, I'm happy. I'm just one of those guys. But that's one of the biggest drawback I've seen so far in reefer. But I will tell you one thing. I think reefer is very important to this country. Aside from dry vans, of course, but reefer mainly because we haul a lot of the staple foods like protein, meats, chicken, fish, like frozen stuff. You need those stuff. People need protein on a daily basis. They can't just live off carb and expect to live a healthy life. Fresh produce, that's also done in reefer, because you have to maintain temperature of sometimes 55 60. That being said, reefer is definitely essential to the functionality of the country overall, and yeah, reefer is great. But that being said, I still am thinking I have plans to try out flatbed and then probably go on to heavy haul. But for now, I'm just not sure. It's just 1 month. I feel like I should not rush the process. I should give myself at least half a year to 1 year experience reefer, see what the pros and cons with my own experience, instead of just taking people's advice from one person to even 100%. I mean, person. And it's just never going to be the same, because let's just face it, how I look at things, what benefits me, is subjected to my own opinion and my own experience. It's not always going to be a positive for someone else or negative for someone else, for that matter. So I know my values and what benefits me the most. So, you know, yeah, I should probably give myself at least a year to sort out all that thought process. So, thank you for checking out my channel. Leave me a comment, like things I should point out or I did not point out, or feel free to ask me any question, man. I'm still green, man. I thought about making a YouTube channel back in my PSD phase, but I did not, because I was just too overwhelmed with the process. You know, I just wanted to stay focused on just learning, you know, get myself all the set of tools that I need to perform as a professional CDL Class A driver over the road, you know. And then TNT, whew, it's a lot of story that I gotta share with you guys, but yeah, I don't want this video to be too long. Thank you for checking out my channel. Please subscribe and hit that like button, like they say. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.